have a brief presentation. Rohini, can you put it up?
Yes. Mr. Pillai, are you able to share your screen? If not, our team will share it from here.
I'm unable to. Yeah, now I am able. Sorry. Yeah.
Great.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all my fellow panelists and the other participants. I'll speak briefly on the role of skilling and what NSDC has been doing for the last few years. From three perspectives. One is what we are doing on the demand side. Second, of course, on the supply side. And lastly, how we are trying to put this together, trying to match the demand to the supply. On the demand side, we started with a global skill gap study in 2019. And we basically identified, rather categorized the countries for international workforce migration for India into three. The first, of course, is the GCC piece. And the assessment is that over the next 5 years, we're seeing a sectoral demand of around 2.63 million. This, of course, is a pre-COVID estimate. And as one of the panelists spoke of, we need to temper it considering the fact that there is a slowdown. The major sectors, of course, remain construction, manufacturing, wholesale, trade, and transport. And we studied three countries, that is UAE, Saudi, and Qatar. The EU countries, which the other panelists spoke about, another potential sector demand, we saw around 0.3 million. And the sectors, healthcare, social care, manufacturing, accommodation, and food and construction. And we studied five countries, UK, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, Netherlands. Finally, the third category which we spoke of is countries with mature migration systems, the ones which have had migration for quite long and they have point systems. And this is where it's likely to be around a million people demand. Sectors again remain healthcare and social care, construction, manufacturing, agriculture. The countries we studied are the listed ones listed. Overall, it seems there's an opportunity around 4 million over 5 years. And again, as one of the panelists did speak, there are 6 models of migration we find. First is, of course, apprenticeship, which I will speak about vaguely, trade partnerships, mobility partnerships, seasonal or cyclical employments, of course, student partnerships, and then employer RA partnerships, where people go on jobs, etc. So 6 models to make people migrate to this set of countries. The recommendations from the study, so they suggested that GCC countries, of course, establish equivalence between our standards and the proposed standards in these countries, set up testing centers and PPP model, that is public-private partnership model, use experience of the Gulf returning workforce as trainers in such skill ecosystem, and of course, work with MEA on issues related to these migrant workers. With respect to EU countries, the study suggested that we identify the sectors, prioritize them, work B2B, that is identify the industry as such partners in the destination nations, simultaneously or parallelly work out the G2G interactions for any policy level change, map standards, and then fix up the migrant model, the way the people would go to these countries, sign MOUs and conduct pilots and scale up. And lastly, for the countries with mature migration systems, this has been going on for some time. They have been Singapore or Canada, they use various points based for migration. So it was meant that some of this could be simplified and so initiate G2G interactions here and do not interfere with the model, but support it for migration. With this in mind, we have done certain things. So I thought we'd put it up here. On the GCC side, what we just spoke about, the equivalence for the qualifications established for 5 trades with Takamul, Saudi Arabia. And I think it's this month or by the end of this month, we would have assessment centers of 5 trades in 5 cities. And we are releasing the RFP for this among our India International Skills Center network partners. Similarly, for UAE, we have established equivalence of 15 trades. And this is expected to go up both with Saudi and UAE and the other Gulf states we will be connecting as this goes forward. On the EU side, the sector which has been identified is healthcare, social care, and IT, which is the one which is the focus. The healthcare mapping for the job roles for qualification equivalence has been done for 12 countries. Key job roles are geriatric care assistant, pharmacy assistant, and the likes. We have a pilot which is going on, which we have just begun on nursing apprenticeship with Germany. I'll speak briefly on that. We are working with some hospitals in Germany where it's not possible for nurses to go at this point in Germany, but Germany is willing to accept the nursing apprentices. So our students are right now, they are learning German. So key thing is to learn the foreign language. And post that, they would go and work with these 5 hospitals which have been identified in Germany as apprentice. The salary levels are sufficiently good enough, around ₹1,00,000 in Indian terms, with good savings potential. And so that's something which we have begun the pilot. Sweden, the focus is on IT professionals. Again, the discussion is on how we could actually train and send IT professionals. In terms of countries with mature migration system, the Japan TITP program is on. Around 190 candidates are interning in Japan on a 4-year term. Similarly, we are talking with Betasys, and this first pilot has been planned for the horticulture sector. Foreign language training is the other big thing which needs to be promoted in the country. Whether it's Japanese, German, and when we say English, it's not the conversational English, it's about reaching levels of 5 to 8 for this kind of migration. Moving to supply side initiatives, what we have done is we have tried to aggregate the training assessment capacities in India under the pillar of India International Skills Center. What we propose is this would be a set of partners and institutions with which NSDC and the rest of the government ecosystem would support in terms of providing knowledge research, facilitation, skill standard benchmarking, harmonization, advocacy, branding, some kind of demand aggregation, creating some loans. We are also working with NBFCs for creating fintech companies for creating loans for some of these candidates. Of course, some operating guidelines when it comes to assessment, etc. And an IT platform which will help with data management and monitoring. So far, we have 93 members who are part of this ISC network. And these 93 members have 513 India International Skills Centers across the country. 234 districts are covered. Last two years, annually, members have placed around 40,000 people in markets. And our members are in UP, Punjab, Rajasthan, Kerala, and Maharashtra, and the top sectors are construction, electronics, tourism, hospitality, retail, IT. In addition to this, there is the whole PIDOT centers. Today, 3 PIDOT centers are there. The target is to own 12 more, and these PIDOT centers will also be brought under the ISC network. So India International Skills Network would be an aggregated supply side of the Indian labor market. And if you look at this 513 India International Skills Centers, 54 of them are in districts which send 5,000 plus people, and the rest tells me 146 districts send 100 to 500 people. Last piece is about matching the demand and supply. Once we have got the demand in place in terms of assessment, in terms of the study, and then we are working towards working with the countries closely to have the demand. The supply side in place in aggregation through the India International Skills Center network. Last piece is what we are trying to still not got it fully. This is about matching the demand and supply through some IT solutions. So we see on the supply side, we have this 93 members with 513 centers. At the demand side, we are looking at some kind of international workforce mobility platform, some kind of IT portal for efficient tracking of this. Because we know that there are challenges in this in terms of limited outreach, a lack of transparency, and there is a whole load of migration uncertified workforce, and there's a limited use of technology. So we are exploring a B2B IT solution in the form of some kind of mobility platform that could seamlessly connect. It is not to disintermediate, it is to bring everybody on platform. Today, what I understood, recruitment agents are going to human resource agents, get them on platform, get the employers, suppliers, vendors, and partners across geographies on a single platform. This is something which we are working on, which is still in progress. Yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you very much.